her to stay on?
I would ask her to stay on. I don't believe Zohran when he says he would ask her to stay on. The DSA's position, his position has been to defund, disband the police. She wouldn't take that. His current position, today's position, was freeze the budget. That would cause a reduction in police. She has called for more police. I've called for more police.
Well, wait, freezing the budget wouldn't cause a reduction in police. It would keep the number of police the same. There's a difference between those two things, actually.
Police. Mayor Adams has called for more police. So their philosophies are totally incongruous. DSA.
When will you be a socialist? When I get my rugs, so that I can just drop my my hand weights on the ground without worrying that I'm scuffing up the floor.
He calls for eliminating misdemeanors. He wants to.
And then I'm gonna also have an elliptical so I can work out that way too. You guys aren't ready for when I actually have my workout equipment.
Decriminalize prostitution. I don't think she would support any of that.
Well, we can't speak for her. She's not here. But I will ask the public safety question. And we'll start with you, Mr. Sliwa. The issues of crime and disorder on the streets. The NYPD says the crime is going down in all.
Wait, what? Wait a minute. Breaking news. Sorry, Jessica Tish Zohran. Did he actually get her endorsement? I haven't seen any endorsement. Okay, so Jessica Tish hasn't endorsed him yet, but him asking her to stay on is a big deal to kind of get them to not, instantly rebel when he gets elected.
All major categories.
I'm so lost. Jessica Tish is the police commissioner of New York City, right? And so the moderators were asking if he would keep Jessica Tish, the police commissioner, if he won, and he said yes. So he's confirmed that he is going to keep her on, and is at least going to ask her to stay on. So we'll see kind of how that plays out. You can call me Jess. Are you talking about Tish James? Like Letitia James? No, Letitia James is the like AG, like the attorney general. No, you guys, the police commissioner is different from the attorney general. Yeah, Letitia James is the attorney general, and Jessica Tish. I know the Tish is throwing people. Jessica Tish is the police commissioner.
Most major categories, but to New Yorkers, they're still concerned with disorder and their own unique perception.
Too many Tishes in this joint. Like that one. I'm lost again. It's okay. I was doing a bit.
Of crime. Do you think addressing quality of life concerns helps prevent more serious crimes? And how would you deploy the city's police force to deal with those serious violent crimes and also quality of life offenses like?
I thought James Gordon was the police commissioner.
A lot of I feel like I should have a joke for that. I don't actually, so I'm just gonna move on. But thank you for the 5 gifted subs, Sake Tanuki, keeping the stream afloat. Let's fucking go.
Disorderly conduct and retail theft, Mr. Sliwa.
First off, I've been in all 350 neighborhoods. I'm the only candidate that's on the subway each and every day. Wait,
I don't think that's true. I don't think Curtis Sliwa is as gay for the subways as Zohran Mamdani. Zohran Mamdani is famously gay for the subway system.
To hear from one New Yorker who said they feel safer either in the subways or the streets, and Eric Adams constantly heckling at us like it's the perception. No, it's the reality of crime. We need.
Oh my God, no, it's not. Eric Adams. Oh my God, this is gonna make me so mad. Eric Adams went on the Breakfast Club and got absolutely dismantled for harping on this point of like, oh, the subways are so unsafe, but we need to combat the perception of crime by putting more police on there. And like, I think it was Oleyemi Olurin who like absolutely destroyed him on this by pointing out You're the one creating the perception of an unsafe subway system. Like, crime is absurdly low on the subways. You guys talk about how unsafe it is, then people feel unsafe, and so you keep deploying more and more cops. Which doesn't actually solve any problem. And, like, he played dumb about it, but, like, man, seeing Curtis Lewa make the same argument, it feels bad, man.
7,000 police officers. We are badly understaffed. We need to get police officers in the
Yeah, Ole is great. I highly recommend Ole Olurin. Great YouTuber.
subways, actually
And I've heard great lawyer.
patrolling the moving cars where people are most threatened and most frightened. And we need to bring back the homeless outreach unit that was disbanded when de Blasio took $1 billion out of the budget. These were men and women.
Or maybe, and I'm just floating this idea out there, maybe instead of having police dispatched to, like, interact with the unhoused, maybe we just have social workers that do that. Maybe you could have a unit of social workers that aren't armed and capable of killing said homeless individuals so that, they can feel safe and actually want to receive the services. Because if you see a bunch of armed people coming up to help you and you don't know who they are, you're not going to want their help.
And police officers who already had with them medical nurses and healthcare practitioners, but it was de Blasio who abolished it, and they've been talking about bringing something back ever since, but they never do it because I'm out there in the subways every day and I never see it. And when I'm mayor, it gets done on day one. The homeless outreach unit is put back into the NYPD.
We spoke about this in the last stream. Some guy named Z-Napper said the same thing about subways, and then said he wanted there to be AI facial recognition. We asked him where he lived, and he said Finland. Jesus Christ. Yo, I don't know. Can we put all, like, the weirdo conservative fash folks on, like, I don't know, the garbage island in the middle of nowhere? Like, just let them build their own creepy society. I don't know.
Mr. Mamdani.
When I hear from New Yorkers of where they feel least safe, they will often tell me the subway system. And when they explain those moments to me, what they are often explaining.
Well, I missed a bunch, stepped away for a while, so I lost the thread. Riverboat Jack, love what you do. Thank you for that. Also, for the 400th time, you look amazing tonight. Thank you. I appreciate it. I gotta be honest. I worried a little bit that this shirt would come across a little bit too, like, I'm putting on like a matching shirt with, like, a little cap that has, like, a fuzzball at the end, and, like, I'm gonna go like honk shoo 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 my way to dreamland. I was worried it would come across as, like, too pajama-y, but I think this looks really nice actually on camera. I shouldn't have worried. That is no way to speak of Puerto Rico. No, I didn't mean it like that. Don't you take it like that. I'm talking about the garbage island. We all know which one that is
A mental health crisis in our city and a crisis of homelessness that has only continued to grow. And that is why, at the heart of our public safety agenda, is a groundbreaking proposal to not only reduce crime, but address these very moments of unease for New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs by creating a Department of Community Safety that will be focused on the mental health crisis, focused on homelessness, and will ensure—
No, I'm talking about the garbage patch in the Pacific Ocean. The Pacific garbage patch. This thing. Send them out here. It's a giant floating pile of garbage, okay? It's exactly like what fascists deserve.
Sure that police officers can focus on serious crimes, because in 2020—
Is it in Stellaris? Is it really? That's wonderful.
The response time for those officers was less than 11 minutes. Today, it's closer to 16 minutes, and that's because every year they are now responding to 200,000 mental health calls, when those are calls that could by and large be taken by experts trained on responding to that very crisis.
Thank you, Mr. Cuomo.
The answer is always a new government agency.
So sometimes the answer is, in fact, a new government agency to do new things. That's how a new agency functions, man.
Manage the system, manage the public safety system. We know how to do this. Mayor David Dinkins did it when we had a real crime problem.
Oh, you mean a socialist like Mayor Dinkins was able to do it? So a socialist like Zohran Mamdani might as well. Weird. Strange.
Hire more police officers. Of course, you have to deal with the mentally ill. Of course, that requires mental health specialists with police, because the situation can be dangerous. But hire the 5,000 more cops, because they're all quitting, because they're getting worked too hard. You're going to have to raise the starting.
Oh, the cops are getting... wait a minute. The cops are getting worked too hard? Which candidate has a plan to get cops to work less hard? I can't seem to remember. Oh, is it Zohran Mamdani, the guy who's trying to say, hey, let's get cops doing less things and focusing on violent crime rather than on non-violent calls, which are the majority of their calls, which would leave them then with more time to do their actual jobs. Didn't they say crime was down? It is.
Salary, because nobody wants to be a cop today the way they're treated. Put 1,500 in the subways. Forget this Zohran idea of not prosecuting.
Yeah, who doesn't love commuting to work while like policemen with assault rifles stand near you? It's so fun. It makes the city so much more welcoming.
Misdemeanors, prosecute misdemeanors. Those are quality of life crimes, and that's very important. Yes, the subways are scary, but it's scary.
But like, I don't know, if you could just hand out more fines rather than tying up everything in in judicial battles, like, I don't know, like it kind of seems to me like you could save some time and streamline the system. I don't know, just seems interesting as hell. You finished your Ratman emote in the Discord? I have to open Discord? Making me do things? Oh no. I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know how I feel about this. Oh god, the Riverboat Jack lore is gonna be so fucking impenetrable to outsiders. Oh god.
Choosy streamers choose GIF.
Sake Tanuki, I gotta be honest, I have no idea what that joke is a reference to. Thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs though. I do appreciate them. God, he's a were-rat? It looks like it. Or yeah, maybe he's anamorphing. You know, sometimes, you know, you're just walking down the street and suddenly you just start anamorphing. I don't know. Mod over in YouTube chat. Maybe one of you can add not YouTube, in Riverboat chat. Maybe one of you can add it. God. This is such a silly debate. The good news is Zohran Mamdani is like head and shoulders doing better than either of these chumps. So like I'm pretty non-fussed about this. This feels relatively low stakes, and I'm glad it is. It's nice that this is a relatively, you know, low stakes debate considering Zoran's lead.
In their neighborhood too. Those quality of life crimes also have to be addressed.
Mr. Murray.
Oh, choosy moms choose Jif peanut butter commercial. I get it now. I made the connection. Choosy Moms has not embedded itself in my mind, and I don't know why. I think it might be because I don't like Jif peanut butter. That might be it.
No matter how many times Andrew Cuomo describes it as my idea or my policy, I have never once stated that we were not going to prosecute misdemeanors. And that is what you see from the...
Yeah, I genuinely have no idea where this talking point has come from, because, like, dude's never said anything remotely like that. It just is like a complete fabrication made to appeal to like the crowd that thinks like, oh yeah, cashless bail just means you get out of jail for free. And it's malarkey. Jack is not a choosy mom. She's a mommy. Sorry. Mommy? Sorry. No.
Former governor is someone who spends more time talking about the platforms of other organizations and other individuals than the one that I've actually put forward or the one that he is supposed to be running on.
Now we'll hear from Brian for another question.
And excuse me 1 second. Can I just respond?
Moderators, fight him. At one of these debates, look, at one of these debates, the moderators just need to pull a gun. I'm gonna finally say it. We've all been thinking it. A moderator gets interrupted, they just pull a gun, just a pistol, plop it right on the desk, and you don't need to mute a candidate if that happens. If you aren't gonna mute the mics, you can just never mute the mics. Just plop a gun on the table. That's the new, most American way for us to conduct debates. I've been saying this for a while now. Oh God. What a silly time we live in.
Can I just respond to that accusation?
When it's misdemeanors or felonies, no cash bail releases him back into the streets, and both of you are for no cash bail.
I want to move on. You'll get your opportunities, I think, because I want to bring up a particular crime concern, and that is violence among younger New Yorkers, specifically teenagers. My question is, what is your stance on the statewide Raise the Age law, which increased the age of adult criminal responsibility from 16 years old to 18 for most crimes? Police Commissioner Tisch says, quote, "The mentality on the street is that nothing happens to those under 18 who possess a gun." So would you support modifying Raise the Age in any way? And Mr. Mamdani, since you just announced that you would invite Commissioner Tisch to stay on, would you go along with her on this?
I would not support changes to the state's legislation, and I would not support them because the major issue with the implementation of that legislation has been the fact that there is hundreds of millions of dollars that was supposed to be delivered alongside that law that is still languishing in Albany. And I am excited to be the next mayor of the city to finally fight for the money that this city is owed to ensure that we deliver it to our young people across the 5 boroughs.
Mr. Cuomo.
What I was referring to before is Zohran is a member of the DSA, Democratic Socialists of America. They have a charter. He gives them 3% of his salary. He has said multiple times, I am a DSA member, I pledge allegiance. They say abolish jails, defund police, don't enforce misdemeanors. Go to my website.
Dope.
AndrewCuomo.com. It's right on the front page. Now, is he lying to the DSA? Is he lying to New York? Is he lying to everybody? Who knows? On the Raise the Age, I passed the law. I support the law. We were one of only 2 states that put 6.
I love how that had literally nothing to do with the question he was asked. God. Oh no, we want to live in a more just and equitable world? The horror. Whatever will we do if we can't torture criminals? Deport the rat men to Trash Island? Hell yeah, Quinn Decker. Let's go.
16 and 17-year-olds in adult prisons. It was inhumane. It was cruel and unusual, and I'm proud of that law. It's administered by local governments. Some are doing it better than others. If Zohran thought that there was money locked up in Albany, maybe he should have gone to Albany and proposed a bill to release it.
Support keeping the law. Mr. Sillier.
Once again, the architect of Raise the Age, Governor Cuomo, the apprentice to him, Zohran. It's personal for me. My oldest son, Anthony, last October was the victim of a vicious gang assault that could have killed him. And what happened to these juveniles? Cut free, because they went to family court, not criminal court. So how can both of you look?
Wait, did they go to family court because they were children? Like, why would they go to family court instead of criminal court, other than the fact that they were children?
Look at me. I almost lost my oldest son to gang violence, and the perpetrators went to family court and got a little
What
pat
I give
on
for
the
Zohran
wrist.
saying, "Stop, you're making me sound cooler than I am."
Sock, I think for the 2 tier 1 subs.
And was sent home to do it again and again. No, We need to start charging juveniles who commit violent crime in criminal court. And
That's right, we need to start charging them as adults. Did your child accidentally shoplift? Jail. Did your child accidentally drive a car without a license? Jailed. Did your child commit tax fraud? Jailed.
I'll appoint criminal court judges who follow the law and don't just release them because of no cash bail.
Clear difference between you on that. Ms. Errol, you pick it up.
Okay, candidates, I've got individual questions for you, and we're going to try and pick up the pace a little bit here. I'd like you to really just explain kind of where you're coming from. Mr. Mamdani, you've called for reorganizing the NYPD to create this Department of Community Safety that, among other things, would handle calls involving people in mental health distress. Your opponents have disparaged this as sending social workers rather than cops into dangerous situations like domestic violence disputes. Explain really what you have in mind, and please include any evidence that this approach would work.
Absolutely. What my opponents are clinging to is the past, because that's all that they know. What I am proposing is something that will address the needs of New Yorkers in the present. We speak and hear from New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs who outline how the mental health crisis is one of the major challenges in this city. And yet what we have in our city is asking those same police officers who are being asked to respond to shootings, respond to murders, to also respond to these calls. I trust the dispatchers who would be receiving these calls to make the determination as to whether there was any indication of violence. If there is no indication of a threat of violence, then we would set the mental health experts and providers to respond to those same incidents. The reason I believe in the efficacy of this approach is because of the fact that it has been delivered elsewhere in the country.
Paid through lines of
He's
credit
so
or
good at
cards.
this.
No more cash bail. Too many bills.
Mandatory financing for we got to get mandatory financing for you know your bail. Only bail. You know, it'll be the #1 way to make a killing. You'll get a little bit of that Andrew Cuomo money in the financing sector for the the prison loans done via credit, the credit card prison loans. God, imagine a bail payment plan. They literally have those. Like, they literally already have those. Can I roll my bail into student loans? Is there consolidation? Maybe so.
So no matter how often you hear those on this stage tell you that something cannot be done, know that there are others in this same country who have seen it, and it is time for that same policy to come to New York City.
Okay, Mr. Sliwa and Mr. Cuomo, I have a similar question for both of you. The department currently fields about 33,000 officers, down from 37,000 in 2018.
But except Prophet Mo, like, it's not. The argument isn't, hey, we'll let bad people out on the streets. The argument is children should be charged as children, and adults should be charged as adults. And either way, your monetary situation shouldn't be what keeps you in jail while your charges are being, going through the judicial system. You know, like it is just, hey, we're gonna let you out because you're not a threat to yourself or others.
Work went late tonight, but glad I was able to catch y'all live still, Captain.
Hell yeah, that one American. Thank you for supporting stream. And also, folks, we're getting dangerously close to 40% of the way through to our goal.
Safety budget approaching $10 billion. Mr. Sliwa, you want to hire 7,000 more cops. Mr. Cuomo says 5,000 more cops. Each of you, make the case for why you think that's necessary, especially given the fact that for much of New York City, crime declines over the last 20 years happened while the size of the force was also declining and not rising.
Errol, I have to.
And can you please perform it in the form of a song or an interpretive dance? I would like to be entertained during this interview.
Revisit the last.
And by interview, I mean debate.
Debate for a second when Zohran was basing this policy on what they do in Eugene, Oregon. You've never been to Eugene, Oregon. I have. Are you out of your mind? And then
an absolute hell whore. The Ratmen dug a gigantic pit underneath Eugene, Oregon. They sank the city into the ground. What's left is just a crater. A testament to the Ratmen's super weapons and ingenuity. They fired a kinetic weapon from deep below the surface of the earth, and it took out that city. There's nothing left, and that's directly because of their policies.
Columbus, Ohio. This is New York City, a major metropolitan area.
You have never been to the rat capital of Kleptopia. You've never been there.
With thousands of 911 calls, domestic abuse, emotionally disturbed persons, and you want to have social workers go out there and risk their life, and by the way, they're not going to get the results that a trained professional police officer can get. That's why we so desperately need 7,000 new cops. We'll use the Boston model, which is pay now in lieu of taxes. They do it at Harvard University and the other university. We'll raise $1 billion, get them vetted, trained, and out into the streets so they can be seen in all the neighborhoods. And most
yeah, man, it's exactly what people want right now. Every neighborhood wants to see an armed government agent these days. Curtis Lewa looking out and seeing ICE rounding up people and just being like, yeah, this is the way it should be. A policeman on every corner.
Importantly, do the job they were sworn to do, and I will make sure that their insurance, the qualified immunity that was stripped from them, the only civil servants who are...
God damn it. You've never been to Cleveland. You have insulted the honor of that fair city, and that insult shall not go unanswered. Have thee.
Oh, the have thee really got me, one-eyed heathen, especially from this guy who literally has a hat tan line.
Not protected by the taxpayer is returned so that they can freely go out and do what they were trained to do, is to protect all of the people of New York City.
Okay, Mr. Cuomo.
Yeah, we're gonna fast track this shit. 3 days in basic training, and then give them a gun and send them out there. What's the worst that could happen?
Nothing new here. We've had mentally ill, homeless people going back to the Billy Boggs case, right, under the Ed Koch administration. I ran homeless services not just for David Dinkins, but also for President Clinton. I've worked in every state, all the large cities, on all homeless programs. I've spent dozens of nights out trying to bring mentally ill people in. It can be done with mental health workers and police workers. You cannot tell from a phone call if a person is going to be dangerous.
No, you can't, but also you can tell from, like, you don't need to send police officers to a firefighter call, right? Like, you can, in fact, ascertain certain details of a call and send the appropriate units out, whether they are social working units or police units. You can, in fact, like again, we have literally millions of people who do that job every single day, all across the country, 24/7. Like, that's what 911 dispatchers are paid to do.
And I have seen personally many times a person who seemed very calm and sedate explode into rage. Why? Because that's sometimes a symptom of mental illness. So there's nothing new here. It just has to be done and managed. Yes, you need more police. You need more police, first of all, Errol, because they're quitting, because there are not enough to staff the force, and they're working overtime and weekends, and they're...
Wait, I thought Sliwa and the Ratmen were friends, though? No. Sliwa is embroiled in an eternal struggle against the Ratmen. And perhaps the Ratmen do not deserve the violence and bitter animosity of Curtis Sliwa. Perhaps they are an enlightened people who wish to share the bounty of their discoveries with the service world. But Curtis Sliwa has antagonized them at every step, and they will defend themselves.
Family life is destroyed, so you have the highest attrition rate in modern history. You have to hire 5,000 just to slow down the attrition.
Ms. Milena, you didn't miss it. There is approximately 40 minutes of this left.
Okay, thank you, Candace.
40,000 beds for mental health in the state hospital system. By the time you fled fearing impeachment,
I've seen many women who exploded into rage out of nowhere when I did nothing but be very Italian around them.
I can't tell if you're being if you're doing a bit or if you're serious. But also, I think each and every one of us should really ask ourselves, look into our heart and say, how Italian would someone have to be in order for you to fly into a rage? And the answer is, I genuinely don't know. Are we talking? I guess Tony Soprano Italian, mostly because he literally kills people.
cut the budget down to 4,000 beds. Shame on you for putting those emotionally disturbed persons in the street.
You don't know what you're to the. Well, there's one bet I'm going to say for you, but no one is saying to go back to Willowbrook. That's when there were 40,000 people in mental institutions. Yeah. We left that 40 years ago when we went to community-based housing.
We're going to stay in this century, guys. Yeah. The next, we're going to do our lightning.
What the hell? What the hell was that exchange?
Round where each candidate will answer our questions with a brief response, usually yes or no. I'm going to do the first couple. Candidates, if you had the power, would you keep, kill, or modify the congestion pricing program? Just say one of those words. Keep, kill, or modify.
I know Salmon Moose knows how to add emotes. Maybe Salmon Moose can help you, Jazz Dog.
One and done. Dead.
Mr. Mamdani.
Keep.
Okay. Would you expand, decrease, or keep the same number of so-called safe injection sites for drug users in the city? Mr. Mamdani.
Can you say the options again?
Expand, decrease, or keep the same?
Keep the same.
Mr. Cuomo.
Keep.
Close them down.
Okay. The last two mayors proposed allocating 1% of the city budget for parks. Will you make the same pledge here tonight, Mr. Sliwa?
Add another 2%. Keep your hands off the parks, you greedy developers.
1%.
Mr. Cuomo. 1%. Okay.
2%.
I was remarking how Cuomo claimed that he was just Italian when women claimed he was being inappropriate around them.
Oh, fuck. I forgot about that. Oh, no. Oh, I totally forgot that he just said, like, what do you mean I'm sexually harassing them? I'm just Italian. That was fucking insane. I totally forgot about that. Oh, Jesus. Oh my God. No, that totally happened. I'm sorry. Literally, one of the top results is this Amazon shirt that says, "I'm not perverted, I'm Italian." Oh my God. Oh my God. You are so cooked. This man should have never, ever run. Oh God. Can I find like the video? Can I find the video where he says that? Also, he apparently skipped the sexual harassment training seminars that all government employees in New York are required to go to. Jesus. This guy sucks.
Another lightning round question. The city recently enacted a 15-mile-per-hour speed limit for e-bikes. And of course, there are the other motorized two-wheelers that also frequently ignore red lights and other traffic laws. If you were mayor, would you direct the NYPD to ramp up speeding tickets and other moving violations on the motorized two-wheelers, Mr. Cuomo?
Yes. Look, this is a dangerous situation for many people.
Mr. Mamdani, yes or no?
I would actually build on the city council's progress in holding the apps accountable like DoorDash and Grubhub to ensure that there weren't incentives for breaking those street traffic
laws. So you would not increase ticketing the riders?
I do not think the police should be the ones dealing with the failures of these app companies.
Mr. Sliwa.
License them, register them, and yes, do enforcement on them.
All right. There is a ballot question to align mayoral election years with presidential election years in the future. Do you support this, Mr. Sliwa?
Absolutely not. All the attention would go to the presidential election, not to the mayoral election and all the down ballot elections, all of our city council people.
That's a no, Mr. Mamdani.
I haven't yet taken a position on any of the ballot referendums.
Oh, shocker.
Again?
Same answer as
again and again and again. Yes.
Thank you so much. First question, do you support having a casino in the 5 boroughs, like it's a full casino, and do you have a favorite among the 3 current contenders? Mr. Sliwa.
No, only if the community wants it.
Mr. Mamdani.
I'm personally skeptical of casinos, but voters did choose to bring them to New York City, and unlike Andrew Cuomo and Donald Trump, I don't view the law as just a suggestion.
Do you have a favorite?
Hell yeah. I love how he's getting the punches in, like even on smaller questions. He's doing such a good job. What a goddamn debate, Chad.
Of the 3?
No, I don't have favorites of casinos.
Mr. Cuomo.
I do not. I have not reviewed the proposals. I was not in. I did not vote.
It's not so hard to say.
I did. Let me just so you understand some facts. I did not vote to bring the casinos to New York City. I did casinos in upstate New York as economic development measures. I had no part of these 3 casinos, how they were done. I think it's highly problematic, and I think there's going to be a lot more to come.
If this was, if this was a ranked choice,
You and Zohran can't answer a straight question.
If there was a ranked choice election, how would you vote, Mr. Mamdani?
If there was a ranked choice election?
In this, you'd have to rank these.
Myself number 1 and Curtis number 2.
Mr. Sliwa.
Get fucked. What a silly question.
Oh, please don't be glazing me here, Zohran. Are you kidding?
Dude, even his like banter with Curtis Sliwa, he's so good at this.
Mr. Sliwa, do you want to have an
I
answer?
support ranked choice voting, but I'd only vote for myself.
Mr. Cuomo.
I love that Zohran and Curtis ticket idea. I don't know. I'm just enamored with it. I would just rank myself.
Would any of you accept Mayor Adams' endorsement? Mr. Mamdani.
No.
Mr. Cuomo.
Yes, I would.
Mr. Sliwa.
Absolutely not. Put that crook in jail where he belongs.
Hell yeah. The very brief moments where Curtis Sliwa overlaps with progressive policy. Let's go.
And final, a fun one.
Be careful. Be careful.
What is your favorite live music venue in New York City, Mr. Sliwa?
Oh, chain smokers. EDM.
Under the K Bridge, I presume.
That's right, the Kosciuszko Bridge.
Mr. Mamdani.
Forest Hill Stadium.
Mr. Cuomo.
Under the Kosciuszko Bridge.
Have you seen a show under the K Bridge? Who'd you see?
No, I picked up my daughters at a show there. That's as close as I got.
Candidates, it's time for the cross-examination round. That's where each candidate gets a chance to ask one question of one rival. The order was selected at random. We're going to begin with Curtis Sliwa.
Zohran, you talk about free.
God, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of love this format. I kind of love this format where they just get to ask each other bullshit questions for the next 30 minutes. Like, genuinely, that's what's about to happen. This is insane.
Free. But we know that somebody's got to pay for it, and that's you, the taxpayers. And that's going to lead to bankruptcy. The only reason that Zohran is on the stage is because of the failed Governor Cuomo, who was rejected by the Democrats in the primary and rejected by 13 women who charged you with sexual harassment. Do you ever know that no means no? You know what no means?
Your question is to Mr. Mamdani.
You know, like, do you guys know, like, the cartoon characters that fight by, like, rotating their arms? You know, like, that's how Curtis Sliwa is. You know, he's just running in, like, whirling his arms. Sorry, I smacked you guys a little bit. And like, he's trying to hit everybody. What a silly guy. I'm so glad he's not in charge of anything.
Who was your question
We
to?
can bifurcate it, right?
No. You know, you can't. Who was your question
It's to Cuomo.
Okay. Your response, Mr. Cuomo.
I'm not sure what the man said, but the situation, my legal situation, as we discussed before, was fully litigated. I was dropped from the cases. If anyone has a legal situation to talk about, I think it's Mr. Sliwa, who runs the Guardian Angels, and apparently as a charitable donation, but never filed any tax returns for the Guardian Angels, and has been accepting charitable donations, which is just a crime and tax fraud. So I think that's the person who I was explaining to do.
Okay, your turn to.
Damn, just ending on a you do tax fraud though.
Ask a question, Mr. Cuomo.
To Zohran, I believe, as we've stated, that you have been a divisive force in New York, and I believe that's toxic energy for New York. It's with the Jewish community, it's with the Italian-American community when you give the Columbus statue the finger, it's with the Sunni Muslims when you say decriminalize prostitution, which is haram, it's the Hindus, but then you take a picture with Rebecca Kadaga, Deputy Prime Minister of Uganda. You take the picture with your father, you're smiling, he's smiling. She's known as Rebecca Gay Killer Kadaga.
Question.
You're a citizen of Uganda. You took the picture, you said you didn't know who she was, it turns out you did. How do you not renounce your citizenship or demand BDS against Uganda for imprisoning people who are gay just by their sexual orientation? Isn't that a basic violation of human rights?
I think he gets the question.
Wow. This man is such a sack of shit. Is it true that Uganda is bad on, like, LGBTQ rights? Yeah.
My politics is consistent, and my politics is
He can't even get his xenophobia straight.
Really can't, you know?
built on a belief in human rights for all people. And that extends to queer and trans New Yorkers, and it extends to queer and trans Ugandans. And had I known that the first deputy minister was the architect of that legislation, I would not have taken that photo. And yet I also know that this constant attempt to smear and slander me is an attempt to also distract from the fact.
Also, keep in mind that other leaders in New York have taken pictures with that guy. Like, this isn't like unique to Zohran Mamdani, and like dude just turns up a lot and gets pictures with these folks.
That unlike myself, you do not actually have a platform or a set of policies to protect those same New Yorkers here. All you have are the insults that you have lobbed at every single opportunity you have.
Yeah.
Okay.
First, no,
that's it. Cross-examination is just a question and answer. Your turn to ask a question.
Mr. Cuomo, in 2021, 13 different women who worked in your administration credibly accused you of sexual harassment. Since then, you have spent more than $20 million in taxpayer funds to defend yourself, all while describing these allegations as entirely political. You have even gone so far as to legally go after these women. One of those women, Charlotte Bennett, is here in the audience this evening.
Oh, shit.
You sought to access her private gynecological records. She cannot speak up for herself because you lodged a defamation case against her. I, however, can speak. What do you say to the 13 women that you sexually harassed?
If you want to be in government, then you have to be serious and mature. There were allegations of sexual harassment. They were then went to 5 district attorneys, fully litigated for 4 years. The cases were dropped, right? You know that as a fact. So everything you just said was a misstatement, which we're accustomed to from you.
Stated was a misstatement?
Yes, because the cases were dropped. That's what happened. And my question...
God, what a sack of shit.
Also, if you're going to get a picture with an architect of homophobia in Uganda, why wouldn't you go with Martin Sempa? Why are you gay?
Did you guys know that, like, apparently Elon Musk dropped a Martin Sempa meme while talking to, I think it was Sean Duffy? Like, basically posted that GIF. Why are you gay? Posted that in response to Sean Duffy, like, talking about opening up NASA to other, like, companies to possibly work with. He called the Secretary of Transportation gay. It's with that ancient meme. It's crazy. Also, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs, Sake Tanuki. On the way to halfway to our goal. Let's go! We live in such a dumb time that the fact that I know and have to have lodged in my brain space that Elon Musk is posting "why are you gay" memes to, like, make fun of and degrade the Secretary of Transportation. It truly, like, honestly, it's truly fascinating time to live in. Beaver Brain, absolutely. But, like, damn, it's crazy.
Question to you. You still didn't answer. Why won't you say BDS against Uganda for saying gays should be imprisoned for being gay?
Okay.
You have no problem with BDS against Israel.
Well, because one is a colonial power and the other is not, right? I would support, by the way, efforts to change the policy of the state of Uganda, but I would like to also remind folks that part of the reason Uganda has those policies in the first place is a large result of American dollars flowing into the country to lobby for those laws on behalf of evangelical organizations. Because, again, you know, you remember all those missions trips and, like, those the money that you donated in church or you gave folks, a not insignificant amount of that money goes towards buying political favors so that these different churches can build out bespoke policy in order to do things like criminalize being gay. It's actually one of those situations where you can look at Uganda's law about LGBTQ people, and what you see is a dark image of a possible future for here, where Christian nationalists get their way, right? So, there you have it. We should, in fact, fight Christian nationalism with tooth and nail and anything else we got. And I believe we should do that in Uganda as well as here.
No BDS for Uganda.
This is just one question, one answer. We all heard it. Thank you very much, candidates. Brian.
Our next topic is education. The next mayor will oversee the largest school system in the United States, as you know, with roughly 900,000 students, thousands of schools, and billions of dollars in budget. We have an education question for each of you. Mr. Mamdani, you said you would give up mayoral control of schools and share decision-making with various stakeholders. But in the last debate, you said you're still for mayoral accountability for educational outcomes. This has confused some people about how you can give up final authority but still hold yourself accountable. Can you try to clarify that?
I remain opposed to mayoral control, and I also believe that the mayor is accountable for that which happens in this city. I will not shirk that accountability, even when we are putting together a system that has greater involvement for parents, for educators, for students. Look, 1 in 300 Americans is a student in the New York City public school system. This is a system where we are failing to deliver excellence to students, to teachers, to parents, and it is time to have a mayor who understands not only the crisis in front of us, but the fact that we have to change our ways if we want to change our results. And that is what we are running on, a plan for the future, not to simply relitigate the past.
Mr. Sliwa, you recently proposed reducing the education budget by $10 billion, or about 25%, to help pay for tax cuts. But your website includes things like, quote, hire more therapists, expand services for students with learning differences, build new vocational high schools, restore arts programs, expand athletic programs, and increase teacher pay to attract and retain top talent. Those are all exact quotes from your website. How do you defund the education department by 25% to cut taxes, add in the Trump administration's various cuts, and do all those expansions at the same time?
Well, let me tell you, you have a bureaucracy at the Tweed Courthouse. Perfect place to house the Department of Education because of the corruption in the top ranks. You have 13 deputy chancellors. You have about 50 department heads. Nobody at the school level ever deals with them. $41,000 we pay per student, and teachers still have to reach into their pockets to pay for basic supplies. You cut at the top, contracts that have been negotiated that have not been overseen. You will save millions and millions of dollars. And yes, you open up the schools as it was when I went to public school, after school center, night center, weekend center, not just sports, but culture, plays, musicals. People used to be able to take instruments home when they were in band and orchestra. That attracted children. 1/3 of our children don't even come to school each day. And we need more vocational training like we had when I was growing up. That's been depleted. And more charter schools. We need to raise the cap.
More charter schools. By the way, again, one of the reasons he advocates for charter schools is to get more Catholic schools built in New York City.
And have more charter schools for the children who have been waiting to get in for years.
And Katie has an education.
And we'll have a special fund, I tell you, for anything else we might need. We'll go down into the depths and we'll fight the ratmen and find their coveted banks. That's right, they have a sophisticated finance system. That's right, and they still keep it on the gold standard because they have all the gold down there. All the gold way down deep in the depths. We'll find their gold vaults and we'll take it for our own. And that's how we'll fund our education system, not just for the next year, but for the next 1,000 years. Every child will have an instrument. Every child will have 5 instruments. You know the meme of the kid with tubas all over his body and French horns? It'll be like that, but for real.
Question from Mr. Cuomo.
Thanks, Brian. Mr. Cuomo, there's currently a state law to reduce class sizes in the city. You recently described the law as, quote, reckless, and proposed that popular schools be exempted from this law. You also want to start closing low-performing schools, one of the most controversial policies of Mayor Bloomberg. Would you defy the class size law, and if you close existing schools rather than work to improve them, what specifically helps the kids learn more and where?
Yeah, the common denominator on all these things is, the question is, what is your plan to change things, and what is your ability and experience to do it? These are management challenges. And I have managed large bureaucracies. The Department of Education, we lost 1 million students. What's happening is young families have to make a decision when their child has to go to school. They're deciding to go to the suburbs, go to Jersey. They're not going to sacrifice their kid. So it is a terrible problem for the entire city, the shrinking public school system. I would double the gifted and talented programs, double the number of specialized high schools, keep the SAT, and keep mayoral control. It is wholly inconsistent to say, I think it's a top priority, but I want to give up mayoral control, but I want to be a mayor who runs grocery stores. Forget the grocery stores. Run the Department of Education.
Well, what do you mean forget grocery stores, man? People need to
How
get
can
food.
he pronounce denominator but not Mamdani?
He also can't count, okay? He can't count. He doesn't know how many syllables are in each word. It's just really tricky, okay, Sake? Don't be hard on him. You're being so ableist right now. Like, I don't know, like, it kind of seems important to be able to run the ability to get food. Like, I don't know, you should have some basic ability to provide food in food deserts to people who need to eat to live. Seems like an obvious point to make, right? The idea that the mayor shouldn't be in charge of making sure residents have enough food to eat, that's an insane thing to say. That's actually like one of the most basic things that a mayor needs to be able to do. If people can't eat or if people can't drink water, they can't exist in your city.
It was the most single instrumental reform. Mayor Bloomberg was right. The mayor in Boston and Chicago don't give up mayoral control.
Would you defy the law, the class size law?
The problem with the class size law, it's a nice idea. The state didn't send the money. The state has not been doing its fair share for the city. If you have a nice idea, that's nice. Send the money.
And just a fact check, I don't think we lost 1 million students. We have just about under 1 million students in the DOE system, but just a quick show of hands.
I'm sorry, yes.
And just a show of hands, no talking, who is in favor of the cell phone ban in schools? Raise your hands. Everyone has raised their hands. They all are in favor of the cell phone ban. Thank you.
Okay. Candidates, I want to talk about Rikers Island. Under city law, the jail complex on Rikers is supposed to close in 2027. That's something that the next mayor is going to have to navigate. The population, however, has only gone up. It's surpassing 7,000 detainees, and a judge this year put Rikers on a path toward federal receivership. So here's the question. As mayor, will you commit to the closure of Rikers Island as required? And if not, what is your alternative plan? We'll start with you, Mr. Sliwa.
Number one, the architect for the closing of Rikers Island is on this stage. That's former Governor Andrew Cuomo. He was the first, and his apprentice is Zohran. No, you keep Rikers Island open. There are 7 functioning buildings, 3 others that need to be rehabbed.
Man, the fact that you need to, like, qualify that the 7 buildings are functional is already such a bad sign that maybe you need to revisit the premise of this just right off the bat, man.
You can move those who have mental health issues and give them the treatment they need as long as they're detained on Rikers Island. Some people do a year of time if they're given that in the courts rather than be shipped upstate. So there are a variety of inmates. We have allocated $8 billion for 4 community jails. The price tag is now up to $16 billion and will only house 4,000 of the 7,000. Guess what?
Guess what? I propose that we take our remaining funds and funnel it into building a gigantic elevator that shoots us down 4.5 kilometers. That's where we'll build our next outpost. We'll just put all the prisoners down there. They'll build the outpost in the depths of the earth using our advanced energy shielding technology that allows us to build that deep underground. And then we'll hire them to operate as various gunners and turret defenders. And have you seen that movie Ender's Game? We'll have them do that to fight the Ratmen down there, and they can fight to earn their freedom. Kumite, kumite, kumite.
There we go. Nailed it.
We keep the inmates on Rikers Island, and we turn those 4 units in the neighborhoods into affordable housing that we've all been clamoring for.
What about the law that requires the closing?
Oh, you go into court, you fight. You fight for the taxpayers, and you fight to keep inmates on Rikers Island so that we don't just have to lock up toothpaste in New York City, but we lock up inmates.
Mr. Cuomo.
And then we lock down the Ratmen.
The Zohran has said he'd honor the law closing Rikers in 2027. You can't. Unless you intend to release all the people on Rikers Island, which is the Democratic Socialist policy. The county jails are not going to be built. It was a mistake. The whole plan was a mistake. They are years late, billions over budget.
Is Rikers like Alcatraz but New York? Yeah, basically, except like even shittier in a wide variety of ways.
I would say scrap the county jails, build new jails on Rikers Island, provide ferry and bus transportation for people from the other boroughs to visit on Rikers Island, and then use the existing 4 sites for commercial residential. But you cannot close Rikers on 2027 because there's no place to put the people unless you're going to release 7,000 people.
Well, you're familiar with the idea that a law is passed.
I feel like a lot of people are clapping for that idea, specifically for releasing 7,000 people.
Supposed to be followed, even if it's difficult, even if the timeline is screwed up, even if the money's not there.
Yeah, so then, which is Zohran's position, then you're saying release the 7,000 people. And I'm saying I'm not going to release 7,000 criminals into New York City.
Mr. Mondani.
There is no one on this stage that is saying that. Yet Andrew Cuomo will repeat it again and again. What I have said...
Yeah,
I
because
had
Andrew
an
Cuomo's a like sack of
LCSW
shit.
friend who worked on Rikers with women who had been victims of domestic abuse and ended up there. She is one of the most positive people I know.
I mean, like, that's lovely.
I do not understand how Cuomo complains about Zohran living in a rent-controlled apartment when he clearly lives rent-free in Cuomo's head.
I mean, yeah, it's true. Like, Zohran's living with subsidized rent outside of...
And Rikers broke her.
Oh, Rikers broke her? I was about to say, like, it's really impressive that she was able to be, like, a social worker on Rikers, and, like, she's still one of the most positive people. I imagine, like, Rikers is a monstrous place. It is genuinely, like, people die because they don't get medical attention. People, like, are contracting illnesses and disease we thought, like, eradicated 100 years ago in the United States. Like, it's disgusting. It's awful. And like, the terrible conditions lend themselves towards prisoners treating each other poorly as well. Like, it's dangerous for a wide variety of reasons, not to mention the fact that guards hate being there too, and so they abuse the inmates. Like, it is just genuinely one of those places that has been made like an absolute hell on earth for the people who live there.
Time and again, I'll repeat it again, is that yes, we have to close Rikers Island. Rikers Island is a stain on the history of this city. And that this current administration has made it nearly impossible to do so by the stipulated timeline. So what I will do is everything in my power to try and meet that deadline, knowing that Eric Adams has made it so difficult because he's had no interest in actually following through on it. And as much as you will hear about experience and running a government, what Andrew Cuomo doesn't seem to understand is the city has already entered into contracts for these borough-based jails, and to end those contracts would be to incur massive fiscal penalties, but that's not something that he seems to care about, even as he speaks about the fiscal stewardship of this city.
If I may.
What an excellent point. This guy genuinely has done so much research into everything that is going on here. Like, it really comes across as like he has this knowledge because he's lived this knowledge. He has, been in-depth understanding the dynamics of this city for a long, long time. Like, he has a depth of knowledge that is truly impressive.
You want to talk to me about running government or managing projects? I built the 2nd Avenue subway. I built the Mario Cuomo Bridge, the largest infrastructure project in the United States of America, $5 billion on...
Oh, you built Daddy's Bridge? Oh, so impressive. You you built that bridge? You built it brick by brick? You went out there every day? You redirected the traffic?
Time, on budget. 2nd Avenue subway, Moynihan train hall. Of course there's costs incurred. The question is going to be, how much more does it cost to finish the jail, and are you better off cutting your losses? That's the question in the discussion, and you sit down with the contractor and you negotiate. But your position of, I'm going to close it on 2027, the question is yes or no? Do you close it in 2027? You still have an answer.
You will hear from Andrew Cuomo about his experience as if the issue is that we don't know about it. The issue is that we have all experienced your experience. The issue is that we experienced you taking a $5 million book deal while you sent seniors to their deaths in nursing homes. The issue is that we experienced you cutting funding for the MTA to send money to upstate ski resorts. The issue is that we saw you give $959 million in tax breaks to Elon Musk. The issue is your experience.
No, the only thing, the issue is...
God, just went for the jugular. Like, one of the things I like about Zohran Mamdani is that, like, he's very soft-spoken and very emphatic and passionate, and one might be mistaken that he doesn't have teeth, but the second that Cuomo leaves himself vulnerable, he just absolutely gave it all he had. That was a fucking kamehameha. Like, dude just killed it.
The issue is you have no experience. You've accomplished nothing. You haven't proposed a bill on anything. And you still haven't said if you'll close Rikers in 2027.
Stop. I got the answer to the questions I was asking. Thanks very much. Let's move on.
My next question is about another law that's already on the books. The city has a climate law, Local Law 97, that will require a large percentage of the buildings in the city to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 40% by 2030 or face financial penalties. As you know, some co-ops, condos, and landlords are afraid of crushing expenses, but buildings account for 70% of the city's climate pollution emissions, so reduction would need to include that sector. You all have taken different positions on this. I want our viewers and listeners to hear each of you, starting with Mr. Cuomo in this case. Would you abide by and make others abide by Local Law 97 as it stands?
As it stands, you're going to have to be flexible in the application. What's going to happen now is many companies will just pay the fine because it's cheaper than actually following the rules. And that's the last thing you want. That accomplishes nothing, right? It's just another tax, in essence, on these units. So there's going to have to be flexibility. It's the right intent, it's the right goal, but how you implement it has to deal with reality and the costs. Again, otherwise, I can tell you, I've had this conversation with many of them. They're not even going to try. They're just going to pay the fine.
What kind of flexibility, if you could be
It's going to be timing, and what do we mean, and can it be phased in?
Mr. Mamdani.
The climate crisis is one of the most pressing crises facing this city, and we deserve to take it on with the urgency it requires. It is right now easier to pay the fine than to actually comply with this legislation. We have to ensure that we make it easier for condo and co-op owners to follow these laws, and we do that by eliminating the application fees for J51, by extending that tax credit, by also creating a one-stop shop in New York City government that procures at a large scale heat pumps and the very kind of infrastructure needed to comply. We've seen this.
God, this is so good. Like, that's what you need to do. You need to make it easy to accommodate to the law, and you also need to make it, incentivize following the law. Like, you need to do both, actually. And, like, I don't know, just having a stockpile of equipment that makes it easier to convert to green energy, that seems... Honestly, that's something I hadn't ever considered before, but that's such a good idea and such a good policy. That should be the case for literally every city in America. You could think of it as like a green energy armory.
Happened before with clean energy work that's been done in Woodside houses. It's time to bring that kind of work right here so that we can ensure full compliance with Local Law 97.
I read that
we getting granular up in here.
Proposing the city buy those heat pumps and other tech in bulk and give them to landlords and other buildings for free. Is that accurate?
No, it's to actually ensure that they can afford the cost of these things.
Yeah, I don't think he's advocating for giving them free equipment to do this. Like, he's advocating so that they can get a fair price on this equipment.
by purchasing using an economy of scale.
Thank you, Mr. Sliwa.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, you want them to be able to afford it. You want them to be able to, like, if the state is buying all of the equipment, then, like, you can drive down the cost of the equipment. Dude absolutely understands what he's talking about. This is great.
I'm the only one on this stage totally opposed to Local 97. 100,000 condo and co-op owners. Their maintenance fees will go up 30%. They won't have enough reserve fees. You're going to see massive flight from the co-ops and condos. Now, they want to electrify everything. Well, there's a man on the stage who took Indian Point offline. That was 25% of our electrical output. We haven't been able to meet the need since. And as a result, they're now starting to build, because of the city of yes that I'm opposed, these lithium-ion battery warehouses. Where? Staten Island 38, Brooklyn 12. 8 in Queens, 4 in the Bronx, and none in Manhattan? Oh, no. They're going to electrify, and they don't have the electrical output. So I say no to Local 97. And when I'm mayor, I tell all my commissioners, throw a monkey wrench into the process. We slow it down because we want these condo owners and co-op owners to stay.
Mr. Cuomo, you were name-checked on Indian Point.
I know that there is, like, a kernel of, like, an actual point there about, like, the battery warehouses and those being, like, a fire hazard and like a sound hazard, but also, like, we can deal with both of those things. Like, we can actually address the concerns about the fire safety and the concerns about the noise. Like, this isn't an insurmountable problem in the least. Like, at all.
Zohran wants to electrify everything. Even dogs. As we can see with his best friend Hassan.
Oh no. I don't think... look. Hassan's not electrocuting his dog. Damn. Also, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs.
I think I was. Indian Point was a danger. It was the nuclear power plant most closely located to the densest population. There was no nuclear plant on the globe that close to a city. There were 20 million people in what was called the kill zone. Before I became Attorney General, there had been a number of lawsuits to stop it. What we did is we brought cables down from upstate New York down the Hudson River. We have nuclear upstate. We're in rural areas to bring that nuclear power down the cables and then on that basis substitute for Indian Point's power.
Yes or no?
Electricity rates are too high to pay because of you, Andrew Cuomo.
Yes or no?
Like you
Would
know what
any
you're
of you
talking about.
support new nuclear power plants to help bring down the rising cost of utilities in New York State? Just yes or no, Mr. Sliwa?
Upstate, they're already starting, yes.
Mr. Mondani?
I think it's something worth exploring.
Mr. Cuomo?
Is that a yes?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Katie?
We're going to move on now to the economy. Ms. Donnie, you're proposing to raise the city's minimum wage to $30 an hour by 2030. How would you get the state legislature to go along with your plan? And do you think it's realistic to feel that a small business owner would have to pay every employee this amount, especially when the city currently doesn't mandate that figure for its own public employees? And I have several questions for Mr. Sliwa and Mr. Cuomo.
I also have several questions for both of them. They're very different. And yes, one of the set of questions is heavily rat focused.
Be something where the city would have to start doing so as well, because any law that we want New Yorkers to follow, the city should be following it itself. And the reason that we put forward $30 by 2030 is that that's the minimum that a New Yorker needs to be paid to be able to afford to live in this city. And what we are looking at right now is the possibility of the place that we know and love becoming a museum of where working class people used to be able to live. Our proposal that we've put forward would be phased in over a longer period of time for small business owners to ensure that they could deal with this. And it's also one that we are confident we would be able to accomplish because of the fact that we are seeing from New Yorkers time and time again, the absence of it is pushing them to live in Jersey City, to live in Pennsylvania, to live in Connecticut, because they can't afford to live in New York City.
Thank you. And for Mr. Sliwa and Mr. Cuomo, if you're not in favor of a $30 minimum wage, what are your plans to raise the salaries of workers in New York City? We'll start with you, Mr. Sliwa.
First off, Zohran Mandami deals with fantasy, not reality. Look at all the Uber drivers. Look at all the taxi drivers, the Lyft drivers. They will now have driverless cars. That's what they're pushing. AI that's going to be wiping out so many jobs, especially for young men and women who
What are you talking about, man?
went to school, got their 4 years of college, 2-year degree, and they're making $155,000, and then they get wiped out. You know what the corporate sector is going to do. They're going to bring in robotics. Zohran, stop dealing with fantasy and start dealing with reality. You're pushing businesses out because you want to tax them. I'm the only one here who wants to...
What is he okay, genuinely, like, what is he talking about? Like, you're going to tax businesses and then there are going to be robot cars instead? Also, I'm just, sorry, I'm hung up on this, but like, if you do know you can regulate whether or not robot cars or robotaxis are allowed on your streets. You can actually decide not to allow that. That is an option you have available to you. I don't know.
Cut the corporate taxes, the income tax, the property tax. We can...
You're one of the most powerful political figures in the country. You can absolutely put a stop to that shit.
Cut in order to keep business here. But if you raise the minimum wage too high, they're going to end up going in a different direction, and they're not going to hire workers. It's going to be robots and driverless cars and AI, and I'm opposed to that.
Thank you, Mr. Cuomo.
Yeah, I half agree with Curtis. Zohran does have socialist theory colliding with practical reality. I went through this. We raised the minimum wage to the highest in the United States of America. New York set the bar. We set it at $15. Every other state said, that's crazy when we did it. People in the state said that was crazy when we did it. But it was calibrated. It was doable. We phased it in different parts of the state. We phased it in with small businesses. We gave them assistance. Because if you raise it too high, and I believe 30 is too high, I would raise it to 20. If you raise it to too high, you do two things. People lose their jobs. You bankrupt the businesses. You're talking about basically doubling payroll. And you can have a negative effect where literally businesses close and people lose their jobs. And overall, again, it's another tax on corporations, another reason to leave New York, another reason to pack up the family and get on I-95 and go to South Carolina and Florida and Texas.
All right. Candidates, we are coming down the home stretch. I want to alert our media partners, especially we're going to go over by 5 minutes, and we're going to have Brian lead a conversation about transit.
Right, and we're going to have to do this very briefly to each of you because you each have transit things to answer to. Mr. Cuomo, you say the city should take partial control of New York City transit away from the MTA, which is mostly controlled by the state. Would the city then have to foot more of the bill? And if this is a good idea, why didn't you propose it as governor?
The capital...
Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? Do you really want to do that? Are you sure about that?
First of all, New York City owns the New York City Transit Authority, not the MTA. It leases the trains and subways to the MTA.
I thought they said trans, not transit.
And then the question is the division of responsibility. New York City does the safety along with the MTA. The problem the MTA is having is the capital construction projects. It has been an ongoing problem. I came in, I took over Moynihan and finished it. I came in and took over 2nd Avenue subway, the L train tunnel. The capital construction projects are way overdue.
Would it fall more on the city to pay?
I would say no. There is a budget set. My only point is the MTA, which is a labyrinth bureaucracy set up by Rockefeller, which should have never been done in the first place. It's an overwhelming task for the greatest managers, and I hired both of them. But let the city manage the capital construction from the MTA budget.
Mr. Mamdani, make your case briefly for your proposal for free buses for everybody, even those who can afford to pay.
First I'll just say that one of the most celebrated leaders of the New York City Transit was Andy Byford, who had such a terrible experience working under Andrew Cuomo that he would rather work under Donald Trump right now. The proposal that we have put forward addresses the fact that today, in the wealthiest city, in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, 1 in 5 New Yorkers cannot afford the bus fare. It would cost $700 million a year to make the slowest buses in the country fast and free. And by doing so, we would generate more than double in economic revenue for New Yorkers across the city. It would be something that would reduce assaults on bus drivers, it would increase ridership on those buses, and it would actually have environmental impacts, as fewer New Yorkers would drive their own car or take a taxi and would instead get on the bus. And I know all of this because I delivered it as a state assembly member who won the first free buses in New York City's history.
And Mr. Sliwa, your website, according to my reading, has a section on transit safety, but nothing on transit service. Do you have any core proposals for improving it?
Oh, sure. First off, Zohran, I get a good belly laugh.
Zohran, bro.
Oh, all right. I'll keep practicing.
I got you.
I get a good
Zohran.
belly laugh every time I hear you say free fare in the subways. Half the people don't pay anyway. How about fair enforcement? I'm the only one.
But like your proposal is that half of the people aren't paying anyway, so you're going to instead pay exponentially more money to try and catch and hold and stop people from evading fares, and it actively saves money if you just make it free for everyone.
One who says we have all kinds of fare programs for the indigent and the poor, but if you don't pay your fare, there needs to be enforcement. And by the way, I've taken the subway almost every day of my life since I was 5. The worst time was the summer of 2017, the summer of hell, Andrew Cuomo,
right,
when
Curtis.
you were running the subway system as the head of the MTA. I don't trust you with anything to do with mass transit.
How would you make it better?
Oh, very simply. Everybody pays their fare, enforcement, more cops in the subway system. And by the way, we can get more people to voluntarily actually sponsor their subway system stations, clean it up and beautify them and add some life so the community has input into the subway that they have to go through the sleaze and slime all the time.
All right, candidates, we've got just a couple of minutes. Let's have another quick lightning round where each candidate will answer my questions with a quick response.
I'm not gonna lie, I do like the idea of community beautification programs for the subway station, like making each subway station be nice. I think that's a nice idea. I don't know how you'd go about incentivizing it, but I think it's a nice idea.
Usually yes or no. Name one person you'd like to see run for president in 2028, Mr. Sliwa.
Wow, in 2028. Man, I'm dealing right now with 2025.
Mr. Mamdani.
My only focus is on November.
Mr. Cuomo.
I haven't thought it through.
Okay. We have a city of hundreds of languages and cultures. Can you greet New Yorkers in a language other than your own? Mr. Cuomo.
Ciao. Buenos dias.
Ni hao with a pangyo.
Okay.
Buona fortuna per 100 anni.
Okay. Have you decided on a school's chancellor, Mr. Sliwa?
Yes, I would ask Bob Holden, who's taught 40 years. He leads Democrats for Sliwa.
Okay. Mr. Mamdani.
No, I haven't decided on a chancellor as yet.
No. Okay. Should people be arrested for the solicitation of sex, Mr. Sliwa?
No, the Johns, yes, the pimps, the madams, and the absentee landlords.
Okay. Mr. Mamdani.
No.
Mr. Cuomo.
Zohran's decriminalization for prostitutes, johns, and pimps would be a disaster on the quality of life in New York City.
They should be arrested, you say? Should people be arrested for soliciting sex?
It is a criminal offense. I would keep it as it is.
Okay. Last question. Can you name one thing that New York got right during the COVID crisis? Mr. Sliwa.
New York got right. Oh, wow. He didn't get anything right during the COVID.
Oh, the Johns are what they call customers for prostitutes.
Crisis. No.
Mr. Mamdani.
It only took me 15 minutes to get my vaccine shot when I went for that, and that was an efficient experience.
Mr. Cuomo.
Thank you for the compliment.
That was a city-run vaccine.
All right,
No,
gentlemen.
it wasn't.
Thanks so much, gentlemen. That is going to...
God, that last jab is so good. Zohran, man, absolutely killing it. Incredible stuff. Like, damn. What an impressive performance. People were saying he was doing worse this time around. Like, dude killed it. Dude did great. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Sex Pest doesn't support sex work. Yeah, you know. It's in line with everything he said up till now. God. He only messed up with on the ballot question. Yeah, by listing Sliwa. I think that was intended to skewer Cuomo. I think that was intended to be just like, yeah, I'd list a Republican over Andrew Cuomo. It's obvious that this debate was stacked against him, both by the moderators and the Cuomo-packed audience. I mean, yeah, no, there's definitely a bias, but like, I don't know, like in terms of how far ahead he is, like, I don't even like no amount of bias that they could try to bake into the system would stop him at this point. Like he's just such a powerhouse. They needed to have some kind of like, you know, like dynamite gotcha, but like that was, they got nothing. They got nothing on this guy. Like it makes it doubly weirder for those of you who can recall. We started this by taking a look at Andrew Cuomo's now deleted AI ad that he posted for like all of 15 minutes and then was hastily removed from the internet. But like, just, he was so butthurt that after the debate, this ran.
Zohran Mamdani's opponents want you to believe he's an inexperienced radical whose policies will make New York City more dangerous. But what do his actual supporters think?
Mamdani isn't crazy. He's just trying to even the playing field.
You know, give everyone a fair shot. Sure, he said multiple times we need to defund the police, but that was just a metaphor.
And yes, he did say crime is a social construct. But that was also a metaphor.
His main backer, the Democratic Socialists' ideas are common sense, such as
decriminalizing misdemeanors, like shoplifting.
I
sex
can't
work?
believe it.
I hope it does.
Yes, I hope sex works. Sex works too. You know, it's pretty great. Though if it was so great, why haven't they made sex too? It's an ongoing debate and question. Saki Tanuki, thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs. And also, yeah, let's go.
3rd degree assault, trespassing, prostitution,
And drunk driving.
With plans to decriminalize all drugs, Mamdani will be a job creator for drug dealers.
Instead of helping us homeless get off the streets and into the mental health facilities we need, he wants to give us safe injection sites to do crack and let us sleep in subway carts.
These are actual policies Mamdani and the DSA want to implement on day one.
When a woman's being domestically abused, she finally won't have to deal with some pesky cop to arrest the abuser, but now a social worker to help, kumbaya the situation.
Breathe in. Breathe out.
Mamdani is finally lowering jail sentences.
Guilty!
but Mamdani says you're free to go.
Woo-hoo! Who cares if legalizing prostitution statistically leads to an increase for sex trafficking of women and young girls by 70%?
You can't have safety without equality.
For unlawful abiding citizens like us, globalize the Intifada.
I'm a criminal. I'm a criminal. I'm a criminal.
I'm a criminal.
Yep. I'm a criminal.
For Zohran! For Zohran Mamdani! I didn't have a real job until I was 30, but sure, give me the keys to the city. What's the worst that can happen?
Paid for by Cuomo for NYC.
Like, holy shit. I just, you know, I know we started this by watching that. He paid for that? For that. Yeah, no, he paid for that, LB. Some Republican consultant somewhere made a bunch of money because Andrew Cuomo wanted to run an ad made with AI. Like, that was that was so AI. I mean, there's a little disclaimer on the bottom of it that says it was made with AI. And a little disclaimer at the end said paid for by Cuomo for NYC. God. Yeah, not fast enough that the internet didn't notice. It is truly a sign that Andrew Cuomo is a loser. And with that, I think we're done. We've come to the end of the debate. Zohran obviously came through in aces. There you go. Nailed it. Like, I got no notes. Like, he's just good at this. And he made Andrew Cuomo look like a fool. He made like he, you know, was weirdly kind of like pat the head on the doggy with Curtis Sliwa.
Also, I know that's not the focus point, but why was the pimp so underdressed? He was wearing very muted colors and no peacocking.
Sake Tanuki, in addition to many other things, expert pimp fashion. Remember when Andrew Cuomo said that he was like he was black? Do you guys remember that? I think about it a lot when we do these debates, right? Was it this?
As a New Yorker, I am a Muslim. As a New Yorker, I am Jewish. As a New Yorker, I am black. I am gay. I am disabled. I am a woman seeking to control her health and her choices, because as a New Yorker, we are one community.
I am gay. I am a woman. It is a wild time.
Riverboat Jack is going to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube is where she streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, dating, plenty more. Her sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack.